Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, Top 1 Financial Advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. Today I want to give you the top 10 lessons I wish I would have known 10 years ago. Now this is based off a Twitter thread that I did earlier today, so I'll be looking at my phone, reading the notes, but also giving you a little bit more explanation because that's what YouTube is for. So let's go ahead and break it down. I think I have 5 or 6 here. Y'all know how I can be. There are 5 written down, but we may venture off depending on how the conversation goes. All right, so the first one is you don't have to be an expert. Okay, now I might have to because I have to, sit here, research videos, put them out Monday through Friday and produce 250 videos a year. But you don't have to do that. And primarily, if you are looking to start, you don't need a finance degree, you don't need a master's, you don't need to read every single investing book out there. You don't even need to read The Intelligent Investor. Our book club is coming up. We'll have more discussions about that. But the main thing is, you just need to start. And to start, you can do something as simple as opening up your 401k, putting in 15%, and investing in index funds. That's it. You can do just that and be totally fine. If you want to invest in individual stocks, again, you don't need all the jargon, you don't need all the fancy science, you don't need all that stuff just to get started and to know that, hey, Apple might be a good long-term investment. So that's the first thing. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to know every single thing. The best metaphor that I have that I've been saying for years now is like being a mechanic. You don't need to be a mechanic to drive a car. You just need a license, right? You don't need to know every single thing about the engine just to get from point A to point B. Okay, I belabored that point. Let us move on to number 2. Number 2 is waiting will cost you money. Waiting will cost you money because the main thing behind investing, the main thing that makes investing powerful is time. The faster you start investing, the more money you're going to accumulate down the line. And when I was 23, I was in the teaching program, and during those 2 years when I was teaching, I did not have to pay my student loans. Very similar to the last 3 years of life because of the federal student loan pause. Well, back then, we were in the program. They were going to give us money after we got done teaching, but during that time, didn't have to make any payments, which was fine. But what I should have done was say, look, let me just super focus on investing these first 2 years. I was only putting in like $100 a month. I really could have done more. That first, $1,200 I invested could have been $10,000 or more over those first 2 years, which at this point, a decade later, could have been several $1,000s at this point in time. Definitely would have more than doubled from, 2013 to now, because the stock market has more than doubled during that time. So, I didn't wait to start investing, but I did wait to take it more seriously than what I do now. I have a very strict and serious budget in terms of what I am putting in the market. I'm very, very focused on it now and really over the last several years, but I wish I had done that more so and was more focused in 2013. What I was doing was like, hey, I got $100. I want to do something. I want to start investing, but I was not taking it as seriously as I could at that point in time. All right, the next one is hitting $100,000. That's when things get fun. Now, if you have signed up for my free class, you can go to buildingbread.com/free class, and I give you my full investing plan on how you can invest your first 6 figures. And once you hit $100,000 across your portfolio, that is when things get fun. That's when things get interesting because I've said this before, and y'all know this by now. The stock market is going to get you 7% on average. Now, yesterday we just talked about how Apple gets to 30 in the first 5 months of the year. But on average, because you're going to hit those down years like last year, you're going to get 7%. If you're investing $100, $7 does not sound great for waiting an entire year. And then 7% on top of that, so on and so forth. And it starts to feel very slow. And honestly, I think that's one reason why I didn't invest more aggressively back 10 years ago, because I was only putting in $100 and it wasn't really exciting enough for me to really dedicate $200, $300, $400, $500 or more at that point in time. Hey, mistakes were made, right? But I've noticed, and I'm sure you have too, if you've been investing, you've hit that $100,000 mark, that's when things start becoming 7% at $7,000. And you really start to see your account jump very quickly by investing in stocks, but also investing in index funds. Take your time though. It took me maybe 6 or 7 years to hit that first 100,000. And if you, again, sign up for my class, you'll know that when I teach, I show a chart that shows you the average person investing $10,000 a year or so, it's going to take 6, almost 7 years the first time. The next 100,000, from 100,000 to 200,000, gets shorter. And then from 3 to 4, it gets shorter. And your money starts to compound a lot faster. So it's all really just math. But once you hit 100,000, things start to get real fun and real interesting. But the only way that you're going to get there is to start. Okay, start somewhere. I started with 100. Wish I would have started with more, but start anywhere you can and continuously invest over time. The next one here, I don't know why I have to keep unlocking my phone. Number 4 is, it's okay. It is okay if you don't own the hottest stock in the world right now. You don't have to. And we talked yesterday again about Nvidia. We talked about Meta, and those are some of the best stocks right now today. Last year, 2 years ago, people were talking about Dogecoin and Bitcoin and a lot of these cryptocurrencies, and people were talking about NFTs at one point in time. Those are the hottest things to invest in at that point in time. You don't always have to own those things. I think what we need to realize is the best investors usually shoot for the middle, not the absolute hottest thing in the world, because usually those that go up very quickly usually come down very quickly as well. I'm not saying that's the case for every single investment, but you can just shoot for the middle. So yesterday's video, I actually still have that sheet of paper here. I think the highest gainer was Nvidia at 107%. The lowest gainer was Microsoft at 30%. All of this is extremely high compared to the average, but let's say I'm a little bit more of a defensive investor. And if the average is 7 and these are between 30 and 100% gains, what if I'm looking for something that just gives me 10 or 15? Something that is more reliable versus something that is just buzzworthy today just because of AI, or buzzworthy tomorrow because of the metaverse, or buzzworthy 2 years from now because of whatever people are talking about at that point in time. Sometimes shooting for the middle, shooting for the average is the best, most consistent way to build wealth. An example here for me in my own portfolio, and y'all see this on public all the time, is O'Reilly's. Nobody is talking about O'Reilly's, but it has been one of my best performers, most boring stock in my portfolio, and it just sits there and it's been growing for years now. It ain't got nothing to do with AI at all, right? It had nothing to do with stay-at-home stocks either, but it has been doing quite well, and it's just been cruising along this entire time, relatively under the radar. It's not the hottest stock in the world, and again, it's not trending nowhere for no reason, right? But that's the thing. Sometimes it doesn't have to be the hottest thing in the world. It can be something that's super boring, very, very in the background, and does quite well. Not everything that everybody's talking about, you don't have to jump on, okay? All right, the last one here, the last written one anyway, is the stock market is not as complex as it seems. Take it step by step. And I think that is the most valuable thing. Anything can be done by investing 1% a day or improving 1% per day. The exact same way that these videos work. If you subscribe to the channel and you're watching one 10-minute video every single day, Monday through Friday, and that's going to start to add up. You are going to get smarter. You're going to learn more about the stock market. You're going to absorb more and become a better investor. The same way on my end, by producing 250 videos a year for 5 years in a row, right, or however long we've been doing this thing, you get better, right? Things improve in the background. You get better at being on camera and all of that. And this really goes beyond investing. It goes for sports, for business, whatever it is that you do consistently, you are going to get better at. And that's the same thing with investing. You're not going to be Warren Buffett on day one. That's not going to happen. But you can get a whole lot closer if you're taking one step a day. One example, and I did finish The Intelligent Investor, again, book club on this coming Friday. I've already sent out reminder emails. This is not a book that you can just sit down and read for fun, okay? It is a task. But the only way I got through it, and the people who finished are going to get through it, is by taking it page by page. If it's reading 5 pages a day, because that's all you can handle, because again, this is a big book, is the exact same way that you're going to tackle all things, but especially in investing, because it can be complex, it can feel difficult. But again, you don't have to be an expert, and all it takes is, let me sit down, let me read 5 pages today. and the next day. And over time, that stuff starts to add up and you'll finish an entire book. You're going to build your own portfolio. You're going to understand the markets a whole lot better. All right, that's it. Those are my 5 things I wish I knew 10 years ago. If I did, whew, my net worth would be, I don't know, double what it is now. But the thing is, I started and I wasn't perfect when I began. And the key thing is I kept improving, kept taking those steps to get to where I am now and to get to where I will be in the next 10 years. All right, that is it for me. If you want to take your investing game to the next level, you know what to do. Join our members only, where we release exclusive content each and every week. All right, that's it for me. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.